Bob the fencer here. We're putting in a post and rail fence against the decorative gate. So the closest I can get to drill a hole next to the post is within about 6 or 8 inches of the side of the pole. And then we go down, we've marked out the length of the fence line because we've got to match it on the other side, and the fence line finishes at about that spot down there. So we've drilled the first hole, and the first post is just sitting in the hole, and we will assemble a few things from there on. I'll go for a bit more shortly. Okay, I've drilled the other end hole, so we put that post in the ground. We haven't put it in the ground, we've just set it in the hole slightly because the hole needs to be enlarged a little bit. And I've drilled the second hole, and to get all the mud out you can either use a bucket, a can of metal can, or I've got a double shovel, a post-hole shovel. So you put it in the hole and pull the handles together. In my case, some of them work in the opposite direction, and lift the dirt out of the hole. Okay, we've got the post, and I've squared the hole up a little bit so the post sits in the hole and goes down to the bottom, but it's actually a little lower than we'd like. It's 1.5 inches too low. So we're going to lift the post out of the ground again, put some dirt in the bottom and tamp it down and get it to the correct height. Now this is the trick that you use all the way along your fence line, is you put the posts in the ground till they're sitting on the bottom, and then sight your line up so the top of the posts are all in line with your fence line, and you alter them height wise while they're still just sitting in the hole so they're all at the correct height. So we tamp the bottom of the hole so that it's solid where the post is going to sit. You'll notice I've cut the end of my crowbar. This is for post and rail fences, so the flat side on this side goes against the post and the rounded side goes around the outside of on the hole to tamp the excess dirt down to stabilise the post in the hole. So this is a 3 rail section I'm doing, 3 posts, and the middle one I've just stuck in the hole, dug it out, put it in the hole, and this is where you've got to use your eyeball sight, not a string line, because a string line will sag in the middle, and in this case the middle post has got to be lifted up again. So we lift it out of the hole, tamp a bit, kick a bit of dirt back in the hole, tamp it down like I just showed you, put it in the hole and check out the heights. Okay, this time we are cutting the rails into the back of the post rather than pre-making them. The posts are blank posts, so this is a complete exercise again. So I've marked from the top of the post down to the nail with the correct distance that the customer wants. So we're going to have approximately 100 millimeters from the top of the post to the top of the rail, and then a 200 millimeter rail. And then I've sighted up, measured that all down from the top, and put in 3 nails that are in line with each other on the top of the posts, because the top of the posts are all in line. It's gone out of focus. Okay, then I've measured. The customer wants all of the rails to be, or the bottom rail to be very, very close to the ground. So to get the bottom rail very close to the ground, it's about 900 millimeters. and then halfway 450. So I've put nails in to support the rails, 4-inch nails, 100mm nails, to support the weight of the rails, to put them on to make sure that everything is right. So we've marked all 3 posts. The rails have just arrived, so we'll see how we go. Very quickly, you'll notice I put 3 nails in on the side of the post, not in the middle, because we're joining the rails on the middle post. Right, so we have, I'll then line up the rails from that post to this post once we get the first lot in, and put a nail in to match. So I've set the rails on the nails, 4-inch nails, and the heights showing the angle because we're running downhill, which is why I have to do all this before you cut the slots and make sure everything fits and everything is in line, and then we'll cut the slots in the rails. So we're going to cut and join these rails in the middle of the post, approximately the middle, but I'll just cut it a little long at the moment. So method of finding the post is vertical. Okay, post is vertical. So we set the level up vertical and then mark the line to suit the. Okay, so once all the nails are put in place to get the rails at the right angle up and down the hill, that's how and then we cut the rail to suit the post vertically. Okay, I've marked the back of the post with where the rails are got to be sunk in. So I'm going to use my circular saw, set 50mm, to cut the rails into the post, 3 rails. Oh, by the way, to make the post sit in the hole and not wobble around, I made wedges, just simple wedges to wedge the post and stop it from moving in the hole before I put concrete in, so I can take it out and put it in, take it out, whatever I need. Okay, I've cut along the lines either side of where each of the rails have got to go. We've cut down the 50mm and we've cut a pile of hole grooves in it. Unfortunately there's sand in this post and it's blunted my saw, but we're now just chiseling out the gap. So if you hit some of the bits of wood with a hammer, it knocks them out. Okay. Okay, now we're joining the 2 rails in the middle. I've marked the middle of the rail of the post from either side. I have cut one using my level to get the right angle, and what I do is bring the other rail up close to it using the same level to get the same angle, mark the new rail, and then we've got to cut that, and when we slide it up it'll match in the slot. Okay, so after cutting with the circular saw the joint on the posts, and I'm going to put 100mm nails in the middle to hold the rails in place, and at that point, after we've assembled everything, we concrete them into the ground, and I use bags of concrete mixed up in the wheelbarrow. It's easier for me out in the middle of nowhere. So the rails are in position, and this is the back of the fence, and we're ready, almost finished, ready to go home. Okay, we've just bags of cement mixed in the wheelbarrow with water, and we've filled the posts up. But some people say that cement is affected by water. You can actually have the water in the top of the hole, and you can puddle it around so the cement actually goes around the post. Have it nice and dry, nice and wet, so that it flows around the bottom of the post. Okay, and while the cement's wet, clean the post off, so there's no cement on the bottom of the post if you're going to paint the posts or something like that. It's just as easy to clean it all down while it's still damp down below ground level. And any splashes that you've had of cement or something on railing and things, just clean that off too. There's another little bit up here. Okay, so if you've splashed it. Okay, so the finished item, equal spacing between the top and the middle and the bottom, and as per the customer's request, the bottom rail being very close to the ground and flowing downhill from the gate post to join the front fence.